Take Back Your Life with Dr. Marisa Fay.
Every Thursday night at 7 on Kcaa, NBC News Radio, AM 1050.
This is Dick from Carpet Masters. Carpet Masters has been serving the Inland Empire for over 55 years. Carpet Masters uses extraction cleaning for your carpet because there's no better cleaning to remove the soil from your carpet. All of our furniture cleaning is done by hand in your home or in our plant. Carpet Masters also offers dry cleaning for fine furniture. Call Carpet Masters at 793-7215. That's 793-7215 for Carpet Masters.
You're on board KCAA's Inland Talk Express. KCAA, Loma Linda, 1050 AM, the station that leaves no listener behind.
Too much rain. TV merger. Iraq on the move. I'm Dirk Van. Flash flood warnings up for southeast Texas and Louisiana this morning after record rainfall in Houston. Correspondent Jennifer Gray says a dozen people are still missing.
We're seeing major flooding in the Houston area. The rain continuing there. It's also pushing into South Louisiana, so flood watches and warnings still in effect across a lot of southeast Texas.
Another mega merger in the works. Charter Communications channeling its efforts at a $55 billion merger with Time Warner Cable. Correspondent Steve Kastenbaum.
The deal would have to pass muster with the same government agencies that were poised to kill the Comcast merger. Charter Communications will likely argue that this larger company would serve as an important counterweight to Comcast.
Stocks on the bearish side, futures trending lower, and Iraqi state TV is declaring the start of a massive counteroffensive to retake Ramadi from ISIS. Baghdad stung by comments that Iraqi forces don't have the will to fight. I'm Dirk Van.
My name is Amanda Clark. I am a breakfast defector. I am reaching out to anyone trapped in their AM routine. We'll be at Taco Bell every morning starting at 7 a.m. Say no to breakfast blandwiches. There's something tastier out there, like the Sausage AM Crunch Wrap, juicy sausage, eggs, and a crispy hash brown inside a grilled tortilla. If your mouth is watering, don't resist. Join us. Defect to the next generation of breakfast at Taco Bell. Wake up, live Moss at participating locations.
Great news for your Memorial Day holiday. Right now at Pier 1 Imports, you'll get up to 25% off all outdoor items, which means you'll get up to 25% off a patio you're madly in love with, up to 25% off the most colorful backyard barbecue ever, and up to 25% off all your friends wishing they'd gone to Pier 1 first. From lanterns to dinnerware, patio umbrellas to furniture, all outdoor is up to 25% off now through Sunday, May 31st at Pier 1 Imports.
And good morning. Good Tuesday morning to you. Feels like Monday, but it's Tuesday. Short week. Good news, but bad news. We're all going back to work. Taking a look at Inland Empire weather. Well, it's a little cloudy out there. We've got some low clouds and fog. Going to remain that way through today. Becoming mostly sunny Wednesday, they're saying. Promising. Highs around 80. And near 90 by Friday. Near 90 by Friday. In the mountains, warmer with afternoon winds to about 25 miles per hour. Partly cloudy Tuesday. Mostly clear in the deserts, except partly cloudy Tuesday. Highs in the 90s. In the beaches, cloudy nights. Early morning low fog. June gloom. Sunny afternoons. Highs through Thursday near 68. Currently 62 degrees at KCAA. As we take a look at Inland Empire traffic. In Corona, stop-and-go traffic. The 91 westbound between McKinley Street and I-15. Corona 91 west is slow and go from McKinley to Green River. We call it the Corona Crawl. Moreno Valley, stop and go. I-215 northbound between Alessandra Boulevard and Eastridge Avenue and Eucalyptus Avenue. Moreno Valley, 215 north is slow from Alessandra to University. 60 west is slow from Day Street to 215. And out in Ontario, we got some taillights on. 60 westbound between I-15 and Milliken Avenue. This weather and traffic report brought to you by Star Al Limousine. They extend their best wishes to our 2015 graduates. Celebrate with style. Leave drug and alcohol out. That's courtesy of Carla and Robert Rodriguez of Star Al Limousine. The only place to be if you're looking for quality and excellence. Family owned and operated for 13 years. The people who take time to care about your complete and total satisfaction. A name that stands above all others. A name smart folks have trusted here for years. You'll always be safe with Star Al Limousine. So stop by or call 909-796-8079. That's 909-796-8079. Or visit their website at star-allimousines.com. That's star-allimousines.com. That's your weather and traffic report from the only station that leaves no listener behind, KCAA 1050 AM.
In AgNet West today, an important deadline is just days away for many growers. The story next.
As warm weather arrives, so do the mites. And as any grower or PCA will tell you, these tiny pests cause big problems. But you don't have to stand for it. Fight the mite with Zeal miticide. In just one application, Zeal delivers effective, long-lasting control of a broad spectrum of mites, including spider mites and red mites. Zeal is now registered for field corn and can be used on a long list of crops, including tree nuts, grapes, palm fruit, stone fruit, cotton, cucumbers, melon, mint, strawberry, and more. And not only does Zeal give you long-lasting control, it also affects mites in all life stages, including eggs. Zeal begins to work quickly thanks to translaminar action that reaches mites where they feed. Don't let mites take over your crops this summer. Fight back with the proven long-lasting control of Zeal. Zeal, it lasts, so mites can't. From Valent USA Corporation, Zeal is recommended for use in preventive, threshold, or in-season miticide treatments in tree nuts and can be applied by ground or air in field corn. Always read and follow label instructions.
An important deadline is less than a week away for growers who are currently enrolled or who want to be enrolled in government-supported crop insurance. Growers who want to participate in the Risk Management Agency's Crop Insurance Premium Support Program must file their AD 1026 form by the end of business on June 1st. That form is filed with the grower's local Farm Service Agency office. Farm Service Agency Administrator Val Dolcini says this is likely new for farmers here.
And for farmers in California, particularly those that grow specialty crops, this is something that they probably are doing for the first time, and they just simply have to attest to the fact that they are complying with USDA conservation regulations, and they can learn more about those by contacting their local FSA office.
He says if you can't make it into an office to file the form, you can get it postmarked by June 1st. I'm Sabrina Hill for AgnetWest.com.
Listen to KCAA Loma Linda for less confrontation and more information.
It's the Onion Radio News. A conjoined twin is hogging a kidney. This is Doyle Redland reporting. 27-year-old Bruce Andrusko of Springfield, Missouri, complained loudly today about his conjoined twin Bryce's habit of hogging the brother's middle kidney. Bruce, who has been fused with Bryce at the torso since birth, says the whole arrangement is grossly unfair.
He drinks tons of beer. That only leaves me with one kidney for everything I drink. I'm sick of it.
The hard-drinking Bryce responded in kind.
Bruce never seems to complain when the beer I buy is introduced into our shared bloodstream.
The conflict is expected to remain unresolved for many years to come, or until shared liver failure kills both of them. Doyle Redland for the Onion Radio News, online at theonion.com.
Controlled? Well, maybe. Chaos? Definitely. Tune in weekday mornings, Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. for Controlled Chaos with Gary Garver, Jigga, Dave, and Mary Tonga. KCAA 1050 AM. You have to hear it to believe it.
Good morning. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
We got Mark Westwood in the booth. This
Hello.
is On the Brink, KCAA Morning Show. It is early, 6 a.m. on Gratitude Tuesday.
It is Gratitude Tuesday.
It is Gratitude Tuesday. Are you grateful today, Mark?
Yes, I'm grateful the weekend's over. It was so much work for me.
Well, and you were in that. You were talking about how you were in that mess on coming back from Palm Springs. Talk about that a little bit.
Oh my gosh! You know, the 10 is the umbilical cord to California, basically for people who are going to Arizona, Lake Havasu, the Colorado River, Mexico, or all points eastbound. And of course, maybe 2-3 million people on the 10 freeway doesn't make for a good experience. Actually, coming out of Palm Springs on Highway 111, halfway down Highway 111, it was bumper to bumper in a parking lot. And then you just look down and you could just see cars just everywhere. It's just like, oh.
It's like, okay, put in a book on tape or something else and just kind of relax because you're not going anywhere.
Right. I turned on my favorite radio station and I started singing along with the songs, and a couple of times I talked to people in the car next to me.
and hope you took a bathroom break before you got on the road. That's the part that drives me crazy.
And had a full tank.
Yeah, well, I had a full tank both ways. Let's just put it that way. But we did it. We survived.
So you're grateful that you got through it.
Yes, I did. That's my gratitude Tuesday. I'm here still. Yes.
What are you grateful for, Tobin?
I'm grateful for our family. I just, I'm looking forward to our family time this summer. Our son's graduating from college, and I've got another week left before school's out for the summer. And I'm just grateful to have the time with the family.
I'm grateful to God for being in our lives and kind of leading us in the darkness. And so I'm grateful for our Creator. Very grateful.
That's a good thing to be grateful for.
Yes.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. So we've got a great show planned today. We're going to be talking with Jamie Torkowski about his new book, If You Feel Too Much.
Congratulations on being able to say that name. I saw it spelled, folks. It wasn't easy.
He is the founder and executive director of the nonprofit To Write Love on Her Arms, and he's written a book, and we're very excited to talk to him about that. And of course, we'll be talking about news of the day. Also have to let everybody know all the ways, as always, that they can listen to KCAA AM 1050. Of course, you can find us at 1050 on the AM dial. You can also find us at kcaaradio.com, where you'll find links to all of our social media: LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Did I get them all? And Instagram. And you can watch our embedded Ustream feed on the website, or you can click through and watch us on Ustream. If you want to call in to listen, say you've got a flip phone or a home phone, and you want to call in to listen, you can do that at 832-999-1050. That's 832-999-1050. If you want to, say you're heading into LA or OC and you want to listen to us all the way in, we've got a strong signal in the Inland Empire, but it gets a little fuzzy around the edges. You can listen to us on using the TuneIn app. So you install it on your iPhone and your iPad, plug it into your car, and you can listen to us all the way in, and then all day long at work. You can do the same thing on an Android device at kcaaexpress.com. So I think I got everything.
I think you did.
It's really kind of neat. You can log on to kcaaradio.com, and in the upper left-hand corner are all the little icons for all of what you just said, and you just go click, 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 and it's right there.
They're all there. You can find everything. And, we really do want to hear from you on our social media, on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and Instagram. We want to, and YouTube, we want you to engage with us. So it's...
Yes, we do.
And there's also chat on Ustream, although now that the Ustream feed is embedded, we're not exactly on the Ustream site all the time. So there's some really interesting stories. We have time for one or two before Jamie comes on. One thing, speaking about social media, there's an article today about what insecure people post on Facebook. If your friend brags about the sweet gestures of their partners on Facebook, they may be inadvertently sharing a thing or two about their personalities at the same time. Researchers at Brunel University in London reviewed status updates of 555 Facebook users who completed surveys about self-esteem, narcissism, and the big 5 personality traits: extroversion, neuroticism, openness, agreeableness, and conscientiousness. Perhaps unsurprisingly, they found those with different personality traits chose to share very different information. Extroverts, for example, frequently wrote about social events and tend to use Facebook exclusively to socialize. And this is according to The Independent. Conscientious people often wrote about their children, while people with open personalities didn't shy away from sharing political views or social itinerary. People with low self-esteem, meanwhile, frequently post about their romantic partners. People are more likely to post relationship-relevant information on Facebook on days when they feel insecure, researchers say, adding that it's reasonable to see the move as a way to claim their relationship. However, those with low self-esteem didn't aim for attention and validation so much as narcissists, who were found to share updates about their achievements, as well as their diet and fitness routine, which suggests a deliberate display of the energy put into their appearance. Researchers say narcissists also posted more and received more likes and comments than others, but it could be that their Facebook friends politely offer support while secretly disliking such egotistical displays. The researchers say in a press release, greater awareness of one's status updates might be perceived by friends, of how one's status updates might be perceived by friends, so they can avoid topics that annoy or whatever. So,
as you were reading this and talking about it, I felt like I fit in every one of those categories depending on the day and the time, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I post a lot of political stuff. That's an interest of mine. So I'm conscientious.
Yeah, but you don't do the gym pictures.
I don't do the gym pictures, but I do post a lot about my running and my physical fitness and things like that.
You know what I don't like is people in the gym who you're in the dressing room or the locker room, is what you want to call it, and they're taking selfies in the mirror.
Yeah, hello.
Like, excuse me, no.
Well, you can find more information on Business Insider and a couple of other sources, but we have our guest with us now. I want to welcome Jamie Torkowski to our show. In 2006, Jamie Torkowski wrote a story called To Write Love on Her Arms about helping a friend with her struggle with drug addiction, depression, and self-injury. The piece was so hauntingly beautiful that it quickly went viral, giving birth to a nonprofit organization of the same name. 9 years later, To Write Love on Her Arms is an internationally recognized leader in suicide prevention and a source of hope, encouragement, and resources for people worldwide. Now, for the first time, Jamie's writing is available in the form of a book, If You Feel Too Much, and it's a celebration of hope, of wonder, and what it means to be human. From personal stories of struggling on days most people celebrate to offering words of strength and encouragement in moments of loss. The essays in the book invite readers to believe that it's okay to admit pain and it's okay to ask for help. If You Feel Too Much is an important book and from one of the generation's most important voices. Jamie Torkowski, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
So tell us about your journey leading up to writing this book.
Well, the book really represents 10 years of writing, so it's unique in that sense. It's not like I just sat down, over the last year and decided to write a book. The organization that I started and continue to work on, it was born from a story that I wrote just about an experience I had trying to help a friend back in 2006. And so the book really chronicles, I think, the best of my writing ever since, and then actually some writing that came before. Back when I was a sales rep who never thought he would be leading a charity or talking about mental health and hope. So it's really kind of a unique book. It's 44 stories that represent not just my work, but also my life. I'm a person who struggles with depression, and hopefully it's honest, and hopefully it points people to the idea that they're not alone. It's okay to ask for help, and that hope is real.
So it sounds like you didn't intend to be in the nonprofit business at all. Are you exclusively working for your nonprofit?
Yeah, this keeps me very busy. There's 12 of us that work full-time out of our office in Florida, and we actually have 9 interns, and our interns tend to be college students who kind of put life on hold, and they come to Florida from all over the world. We just had a new group, and there's a girl from Australia, there's a couple folks from Canada. So yeah, this keeps a bunch of us very busy.
So what motivated you to turn the experiences and stories you share on your blog, and I'm on your website now, and it's terrific, into a book?
I think for anyone who writes, I think a book is kind of the dream. A book is the highest level, and so it's something I've talked about and wondered about for years, and in some ways I had so much respect for it that I didn't want to do it halfway, and I kind of left it on the back burner. But it was it's been a dream for a long time, and we had a movie come out in March, and certainly that was a huge moment for us and kind of a once in a lifetime thing, and it just felt like the right timing to let the book follow a few months later.
So I struggle with depression too. I'm going to be open about that, and so I know what the darkness feels like. How do you pull people out of that? How do you engage them? Because I know that when you're feeling that way, it's really hard to reach out.
Yeah, there's a lot to it, and I know that people have different experiences, but I think what we're trying to communicate is to let people know they're not alone in their pain and their questions, to let people know it's okay to be honest. There's such a stigma that says depression is something we can't talk about, and we really believe that's a lie. So we want people to know it's okay to be honest, that we all need a support system. And then at the top of the list is just wanting people to know it's okay to ask for help. And that's a step that I've taken in my own life, sitting with a counselor once a week, antidepressants or something else that have helped me. So we've learned there's some really practical tools, and I think oftentimes the hardest thing is just for people to be willing to take that first step.
So Tobin, you want to ask a question? Sorry.
Well, I was going to say, who is your book really aimed at? Is it aimed at the people that are depressed? Is it aimed at friends and family who might want to help them? Is it for everybody? I mean, who's really going to get the most benefit from reading your book?
I think it is a book for everybody. It's really stories about life and what it is to be human. I mean, there's everything from friendships to romantic relationships, dealing with work, dealing with growing up. I think there's a lot that a lot of people will relate to, but, certainly it is really special to me, the thought that someone who's struggling could find encouragement and could find hope in it. So I know that is something I've heard over the years, and that was even part of, I think, the excitement and kind of the dream with releasing a book, was to try to create something in book form that if it ended up in the hands of someone who was hurting, it could be something that helped them.
So what are some of the most surprising stories? I mean, you must have talked to, I don't know how many people over the years, hundreds, maybe thousands. What's been the most surprising?
I think the best thing that I ever get to hear is just someone saying that through the work that we do as an organization or something they encountered through our work that they're still alive. And I tell people, I can't imagine in any profession a better moment or a better conversation or even comment to get to hear. And so that's one that I get to hear now and then, from people who say, hey, I'm still on this planet. And I think for a lot of people, it's just about that light bulb going off where they feel like they don't have to hide anymore. They don't have to live with secrets and with shame, that these struggles are just part of being human. And if someone breaks an arm or gets the flu or they get sick with cancer, nobody tries to hide it. Nobody tries to fake it. And we think that thinking should apply to mental health and to addiction, to self-injury, that it should be the idea that, hey, it's okay to say these things out loud and it's okay to ask for help. Just as our bodies break down, our mind is part of our body, and it's okay to get help for that.
So, you mentioned cutting or hurting yourself or something like that, and I teach at a middle school, and my school has seen a real uptick in kids that are doing cutting and doing things like that. And how does this relate for kids? And I know you've got a background in music, and can you use music as a way to reach people as well?
Yeah, we feel like this conversation shares a lot of common ground with music, just because I think music suggests that it's okay to be honest, and it's okay to share your feelings. It's okay to say out loud the things you're not sure about. And so for a lot of people, they're comfortable going there in songs, and we wonder if that could apply to day-to-day conversations. And I think kind of the overarching question is just, what do we do with our pain? Because in my mind, self-injury is a way that people use pain to cope with pain. People relate differently to the issues that show up in our mission statement, but I think at the end of the day, what we're talking about is, hey, we all struggle. We all run into really big questions in this life. We experience loss. How do we respond? And we can respond in ways that are healthy, or we can respond in other ways. And so a lot of this is just about, trying to say, hey, we can have this conversation, and there's good ways to respond.
So your friend that originally kicked this off, the friend that you originally set out to help, how is she doing?
She's doing great. She's a dear friend of mine. She lives in Nashville. Her name is Renee Yohe. We've had the chance to do a bunch of events actually in the last couple months together, and she's had the chance to share her story in her own words, a bunch over the years, and she's kind of settled into really preferring to do it in the form of songs. And so she's singing in a band called Bearcat that is her project. She's making jewelry, so she's a really gifted, really creative girl. And she was played by Kat Dennings in the movie that came out back in March. And then I think with that, she would say that recovery is still one day at a time, and it hasn't been a fairy tale. It hasn't been easy, and it's true for millions of people, but she has to wake up and choose this and lean on other people one day at a time.
So we tend to think of addiction as, just like people who eat too much, people who whatever, drink too much, as a major character flaw, and it's truly not. It's a way of coping with what's bad feelings and maybe negative things in your life, or a chemical imbalance. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I think you nailed it. I think it's weird. We're comfortable with certain forms of brokenness. I mentioned a couple. We're comfortable with the idea that we get sick, we break bones, that life is fragile. And yet, when it comes to someone struggling in these areas, for some reason, we buy into the idea or the lie that it's taboo and that it's something we can't talk about. And as you said, at times it can be as simple as a chemical imbalance that can be corrected, and so when I talk about my experience going to counseling or being on antidepressants, these are things that have just helped bring stability to my life, day to day. And so our hope is that people could talk about it and think about it in the exact same way, that it's okay to reach out for help. I've heard people joke, when our cars aren't working, we get our cars fixed, and no one thinks twice. And how much more important is our mind than our car?
Right.
How much more important is our life? And so I think that's really true.
Now, people tend to think of suicide. I hear this all the time, and it makes me angry. So suicide is a selfish act, and it's really, really not. How do you work with families so that they understand?
Yeah, I understand what people mean when they say that, and I think, oftentimes, hopefully, people mean well. But, I shared some of the good stories that we hear of people that are still alive, but certainly, as you touched on, we see things on the other end of the spectrum. And so we hear from families that have lost a loved one to suicide. We hear people, who talk about maybe their own experience of being close to suicide or even attempting suicide. And I think, again, there's a lot of shame. A lot of the same things apply, where people don't really know how to talk about it, so they don't talk about it. And we want people to know it's okay to talk about it. We love to point people to counseling, to the idea that, hey, if you are dealing with grief, if you are dealing with a tremendous loss, you deserve someone else who meets you in that pain and helps you process it and begin to make sense of it over time. And, there aren't easy answers when it comes to suicide, but I think people deserve to be met in their questions.
Indeed. So the structure of your book is there's a series of essays. Talk about how you decided to write a series of essays as opposed to a novel, as opposed to something else.
Yeah, so the book is laid out chronologically, and it's 44 stories, and the writing, the majority of it represents the last 9 years since the organization began, and then there's actually a few pieces that came before the organization started, before I wrote the To Write Love on Our Arm story. And it's funny because for a few years I felt like I was trying to be something I wasn't. I was trying to sit down and write this memoir from start to finish that tied neatly together. And instead I kind of realized that this is how I write. The way I write is short pieces, and try to write in a way that's poetic and maybe a bit unique. And finally just warmed up to the idea that I had written so much that I was proud of, some things that had been shared on our blog, but a lot of things that had not, and just wanting all of it to live in one place. And I think the hope is I can maybe move on after this and start to share other things and share other stories, but I really wanted, and I'm so grateful that we were able to find a home for these stories that mean a lot to me.
So you're going to be in Los Angeles tomorrow for a book tour. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, I'm so excited. I'm talking to you from New York right now, and the book tour starts here tonight. And I'll be at the Grove in LA tomorrow night at 7:00 at Barnes & Noble, which is super exciting. I love the Grove. I've been to that Barnes & Noble a bunch of times and was so happy when I heard that that's where the event would be taking place. And I get to talk a little bit about the book, get to read from the book, and then take questions and hopefully meet people, which is going to be a blast.
Well, that's awesome. And that's at 189 The Grove Drive in Suite K30, and that's in LA. It starts at 7 p.m. So I'm sure you'll get a big crowd out there tomorrow.
Well, I hope so. I don't know. This is all new for me, so I'm really excited.
Well, we are about out of time. I know you have other interviews today, so I am so excited that you joined us, and I want to thank you for putting this book together. And I know it will be a source of hope and support for people who are struggling. So I thank you for your bravery and your willingness to put those stories out there.
Thank you for giving me the time to talk about it.
Thank you so much. Well, we've been talking to Jamie Torkowski. He is the author of If You Feel Too Much, and he is also the executive director and founder of To Write Love on Her Arms. And so go on out to the book signing tomorrow night at the Grove at the Barnes & Noble. So it's time for a break. I'm Erin Brinker.
I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on the brink here on KCAA AM 1050. We'll be right back.
You're listening to KCAA, your good neighbor along the way.
Even the word greed is not negative enough to characterize the all-out assault on workers by today's corporate elite. From offshoring jobs to busting unions, from slashing wages to looting pensions, corporate takeaways from America's used-to-be middle-class workforce certainly are driven by the avarice of top executives and wealthy investors. Plainly put, the more they can take from workers, the more they can put in their own pockets, or, most likely, in their offshore bank accounts. It adds up to a massive redistribution of wealth from the many to the few. In addition to greedy, though, these people are rank thieves. As Woody Guthrie succinctly put it, some will rob you with a six-gun, some with a fountain pen. We're now in a rapacious fountain pen economy. Since the Wall Street crash of 2008, itself a product of grand theft by financial elites, the productivity and creativity of all Americans have regenerated every bit of the wealth that was frittered away by bankers, and we created trillions of dollars in new income. What a phenomenal national achievement that is, produced in an astonishingly short time by the shared effort of our people. But strenuous effort is all we shared. The richest 1% of Americans have grabbed 91% of the gains in income, and the even richer 0.1% sucked up 22% of the new wealth. Thus, the vast majority of us have still not recovered the wealth we lost, homes, cars, savings, etc., and 99% of us are getting less income today than we were before Wall Street crashed our economy 7 years ago. This is Jim Hightower saying it's time we robbies started talking plainly about what's going on. The rich are not getting richer because they're more enterprising than everyone else, harder working, or of stronger moral character. They're thieves, and they're getting richer by stealing from you.
It's time for some Dillylicious food at Pizza Dilly. Pizza Dilly Pizza in Colton, home of the famous 2-foot pizza with 32 slices of simply the best Dillylicious Pizza Dilly mouth-watering pizza. Pizza Dilly has all kinds of lunch specials Monday through Friday, starting at $3.99, all Dillylicious. Stop by, refresh, refuel, have a cold drink, enjoy a tasty salad or a great specialty Dillylicious sub sandwich, or simply Dilly-lightful Pizza Dilly wings. Pizza Dilly is also People Dilly because your friends are all already there enjoying one of Pizza Dilly's giant screens, watching one of their favorite teams, and if you love the Dodgers, you'll love Pizza Dilly, your hometown Dodger station, all year round. Come on in, enjoy a great pizza, enjoy Pizza Dilly, the real Dilly deal at 194 East Valley Boulevard in Colton, or call 909-370-0242. Once again, that's 909-370-0242.
Like to spend a few days in another world? Then write this down. Golden Bear Cottages, Big Bear Lake. Now, listen, this is not some corporate-owned operation. It's family-owned and operated by some real nice people. Unique? Oh, you bet. Golden Bear Cottages features 28 one-of-a-kind cabins on a 5-acre historic site. Great for families, couples, and groups. And cabins are available with 1 to 7 bedrooms. Golden Bear Cottages is just a stone's throw from Big Bear Lake and super close to 3 great ski areas. Now, I could go on all day about Golden Bear Cottages in Big Bear, but to see everything, just go to goldenbear.net. Again, goldenbear.net. Golden Bear Cottages in Big Bear. clean, comfortable, and affordable. Check them out. goldenbear.net.
For more local radio every day, tune into KCAA Loma Linda.
Welcome back. It's Aaron Brinker.
And Tobin Brinker.
We got Mark Westwood in the booth. We are on the brink here on KCAA AM 1050. We are the morning show.
We are.
So, we
got your coffee now.
Oh, yeah. And it's good. There's the cinnamon creamer.
It's good, huh?
It's surprising. I didn't think I would like it. I love cinnamon, but I thought cinnamon and coffee, it's actually really good.
Cinnamon's good with everything.
Yeah.
And I had some peppy music by Billy Idol for you.
Yes, it's bringing me back to high school.
It was perfect coffee music. Get you going.
There you go. Well, we all talked about B.B. King when he passed away, and of course everybody was very sad about that. But his daughters are saying that they don't think it was natural causes.
Now they're accusing his aide of murdering him, which I just think
you want to talk about that, Tobin?
Yeah, so two of B.B. King's heirs who've been the most outspoken about the blues legend's care in his final days are accusing King's two closest aides of poisoning him. Daughters Karen Williams and Patty King allege that King's business manager, Laverne Toney, and his personal assistant, Myron Johnson, hastened their father's death, which occurred on May 14th. I believe my father was poisoned and that he was administered foreign substances, Patty King and Williams say in identically worded sections of affidavits provided to the AP by their lawyer. I believe my father was murdered, they say. An affidavit from Patty King, who used to live at King's home, says that she saw Johnson administer to King 2 drops of an unknown substance on his tongue during the evenings for several months before his death, and that Tony never told her what the substance was. Clark County Coroner John Fundenberg says an autopsy was performed Sunday and that King's body was then returned to a Las Vegas mortuary. Test results will take up to 8 weeks to obtain, the coroner says, and should not be affected by the fact that King's body has been embalmed. Las Vegas police say there is no active homicide investigation of King's death, despite the allegations. Homicide Lieutenant Ray Stieber said yesterday that any police action will depend on the autopsy findings. What attorney Brent Bryson, who is representing King's estate, had to say, this is extremely disrespectful to B.B. King. He did not want invasive medical procedures. These unfounded allegations have caused Mr. King to undergo an autopsy, which is exactly what he did not want. It's shocking and not shocking, because whenever someone famous and wealthy dies, there always seems to be these kinds of weird things that go on.
Well, and we know that the conspiracy theorists out there are,
they're
always,
this up.
The Illuminati killed him. I mean, that's done for. I mean, they said that about everybody, but this is different. These are his daughters.
These are his daughters, and I don't know the family, but
wasn't he like 89 years old?
Yeah, he was pretty old.
But there are people that live longer than that.
Yeah, not much, but yeah, we like to elude ourselves. But yeah,
but you wonder if it's greed. If it's greed, right?
Just wait around a couple of years, I guess.
Who's getting the money in the will? Is it the daughters? Is this a way to get more money? Are those aides supposed to be getting some money? I mean, what is this about?
I don't know.
For me, I always think it's about money.
Sometimes it's about fame, getting to be known or something.
Maybe.
It bothers me though. Whenever I see a story like this, it bothers me.
And his daughters, of course, are grieving. You would think his daughters are grieving, and so maybe this is part of their grieving process, that they think, no, he couldn't have died. There's no way he could be gone. Somebody must have killed him, and unfortunately, they may be right, they may be wrong, and I guess we'll find out. But this has not been laid to rest. And as far as his wishes are concerned, if they think he was murdered, they have to investigate. They do. You can't just let it go.
No.
So, yeah.
Somebody makes the allegation, you got to investigate. You can't just not do it.
I know. I know. Well, and on to another passing of a very famous person. Ben Stiller actually has come out and he's spoken for the first time about the death of his mother, Ann Mara. And this is according to USA Today. He says, "Thank you so much for all of the kind words about Ann." And this is Ben Stiller tweeted this. All of us in our family feel so lucky to have had her in our lives. Other celebrities have been responding to the passing of the comedian and actress who worked in Hollywood for decades, sometimes with her son Ben and husband Jerry Stiller. Other celeb tweets per people in the New York Times are, "I did 2 films with Ann Mira, a lovely, gracious, and funny lady. We lost one of the good ones. R.I.P. Miss Ann," and that's from Samuel L. Jackson. "I had the honor of meeting Ann Mira a few times. It was a life highlight. R.I.P." and that's from Sarah Silverman. Stiller and Mira have been a wonderful presence in comedy my whole life, and now Ann Mira is gone. I salute her, and that's from Steve Martin. And there are a couple of more here in the articles, and I'm a huge fan of Ben Stiller. Absolutely loved his last movie, which is the Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
Yep.
But I'm a huge fan of Zoolander, which had both of his parents and his wife in that movie as well. So
they were just sheer comedy every time.
Just fun,
just a riot.
Just
every time they got
fun.
on the screen.
And
it was the family business.
It was the family business. Maury Ballstein is the classic character.
Busting a gut was the family business. But yeah, thank you very much for all that comedy in our lives.
Yeah, exactly. So I just wanted to mention her on air and mention that on her passing and the family's reaction on air.
We're gonna miss all these great ones. They're just not creating stars these days.
No, well,
not like they used to.
Not for real talent. We've got all these what I call fake stars. The ones that are famous for being famous.
Oh, the Kardashians.
Yeah, but they've not actually. They've never done something like musically or comedically or performance-wise. They've never. They just did.
Yeah.
They just got themselves in the news somehow.
Well, there's new kind of stars too. There's stars on YouTube and Instagram and Twitter stars, and we used to just have like 3 networks. And,
yeah.
You really focused, and it was easy to create a big personality and a persona and a star like that, and people got to know you very, very quickly. Now there's so many different sources and so many different cable shows that it's hard.
There are. The thing about all the different venues, though, is you really get an opportunity to separate the wheat from the chaff. It used to be you'd have to digest whatever was thrown at you. And now with Netflix and Amazon Prime and iTunes, and as well as all of the cable channels, you can choose who you want to watch. And there are some truly phenomenal actors out there. But they're not necessarily on the big 3.
Right.
So, and I think we actually need to take another break. It's 6:40. And since we blew through our 6:15 break, so is that set up? Are we good?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm Erin Brinker.
I'm Tobin Brinker.
We got Mark Westwood in the booth. We are on the brink here on KCAA AM 1050, and we'll be right back.
This is KCAA. California headline news: tragic accident on the San Joaquin River near Lathrop. 3 people hurt. A youngster killed when a boat was involved in a collision.
The vessel struck the rocks. The 3 children were ejected. One of the children, according to medics, may have been swept under the boat, struck by the prop. By the time medics got here, he was deceased.
Lieutenant Mike Jones with the San Joaquin County Sheriff's Department. The other children not seriously hurt. They were wearing life preservers. No one yet knows what caused last week's oil spill in Santa Barbara, but we're learning more about the pipeline itself.
The owner of the pipeline says a device they call a smart pig that ran along the inside of the pipe to test its integrity a few weeks ago has now identified 4 other areas in the pipe for investigation of possible issues. They will dig up the pipe in those areas to inspect it. The company calls it routine maintenance.
Correspondent Alex Stone leaves sandwiches with locations throughout the state, recalling hundreds of thousands of pounds of meat, finding out it wasn't properly inspected. Geico weather warming up around the state. Jeff Scott, California News.
Here's a crazy idea from Cash Call Mortgage. Take the mortgage you closed in the last year and look at redoing it at today's 15-year fixed 2.875% rate and APR with no closing costs. Just call 877-890-CASH, and with no cost or obligation, we'll tell you how much your payment could drop with the do-over refi. And you won't pay any points, deposits, or fees. None. It's so easy. Just do the regular paperwork, most of which you already did for your last refi, and we'll do the rest. So make the cash call at 877-890-CASH for today's 15-year fixed 2.875% rate and APR with absolutely no closing costs. The do-over refi, only from Cash Call Mortgage. Call 877-890-CASH and see for yourself.
Impact Mortgage Corp. DBA Cash Call Mortgage. Equal housing lender. Call 866-900-8744 for terms and restrictions. Rates may change without notice. California Department of Business Oversight. Residential Mortgage Lender Law License 4131083. NMLS 128231.
That's 877-890-CASH.
From the KCAA Weather Center, I'm Ron Pritchard. For this morning, we've got mostly cloudy skies becoming sunny with a high near 77. Tonight, a chance of drizzle, patchy fog, partly cloudy skies, a low near 53. Wednesday, a chance of drizzle, patchy fog, mostly sunny and a high near 77. Wednesday night, patchy fog, partly cloudy, a low near 55. Thursday, patchy fog, partly sunny with a high near 84. Thursday night, mostly clear with a low near 58. Friday, sunny with a high near 89. Friday night, mostly clear, low near 60. Saturday, sunny with a high near 91. Saturday night, mostly clear, low near 61. That's your weather forecast for this hour from the station that leaves no listener behind, NBC News Radio, AM 1050 KCAA.
Here's a look at the KCAA community calendar. I'm Di Rice. The NID Housing Counseling Agency is providing a free foreclosure prevention workshop Saturday, June 6th from 10 till 3. Whether you're unemployed, having problems catching up on your house payments, or in need of transitional assistance or a principal reduction, NID can help. At the free foreclosure prevention workshop, a certified counselor will meet with you to help you decide upon your options. All you need to do is register, gather up some documents, and join the free foreclosure prevention workshop located at the Way World Outreach at 1001 North Arrowhead Avenue in San Bernardino, Saturday, June 6th from 10 till 3. Register by calling 886-993-4NID. That's 886-993-4643. And that's a look at the KCAA community calendar on KCAA 1050 AM.
KCAA Loma Linda, your CNBC news station for the Inland Empire.
Welcome back. I love this song. Let it play for a second.
All right. I used to sing along to this when I was in high school. And did a real high. I can't do that anymore. Can't do that anymore. Nope.
So I'm Aaron Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
We got Mark Westwood picking the music. Good music, Mark, in the booth.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I dig that song. Earth, Wind, and Fire is just the best. Phenomenally talented musicians.
Earth and Wind are great. Fire sometimes is a little...
Would you stop?
I used to be able to do it.
A little bit.
Oh, put it up. Oh, gosh.
No.
So, Aaron, who owns your car?
I own my car.
You own your car. Are you sure?
I'm positive. I have the pink.
So there's this article out here. This actually been a series of articles where apparently GM was saying that they own your car, and I think it's a miscommunication. So we're going to attempt to dive into this topic, this issue, and see if we can break it down for people because it can get a little complicated. But traditionally, when people ask the question, "Who owns your car?" there were a couple possible answers. Either you own it, or whoever holds the loan or the lease would own it. Like the bank.
Right.
And then,
exactly.
Yeah. But recently, there was a third possibility has emerged. The car manufacturer could own it, even if you wrote the check for full price. And the headline was, GM says you don't own your car, you just license it. And this comes back to this idea that we have in the software industry, where you don't own the software in your computer, you're just licensing it from
Microsoft or from whomever, Apple or whomever.
And so, actually, you do technically own your car. Let's clear that up first off. That you own the physically own your vehicle.
Because I'd be buying a Kia. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But the software that is in your vehicle is protected under the Digital Millennium Copyright Act of 1998. And it says that no person shall circumvent a technological measure that effectively controls access to a work protected under this title. And so this is what GM is claiming. They're saying, look, you own your car, but we own the software, and you can't mess with it.
So that's like jailbreaking your iPhone or your what is that, the PlayStation, or I don't know if that people still play with PlayStations, or Microsoft's the Xbox 360 or all of that.
Exactly. And you know how car enthusiasts are. They love to tinker, right? Mm-hmm. They love to get under the hood and mess with their car and make it better in some way.
Well, and there's this whole field, a whole industry based on aftermarket stuff for your car.
And because cars have become so technologically advanced, this is a whole other aspect of tinkering with the car. It's not just messing with the physical parts underneath the hood or adding some new feature on outside the car to make it look cool. People want to improve or change the technology to meet their personal needs, and GM is saying no, you don't. And so there's a lawsuit. Actually, lawsuit's not the right word. Apparently, every 3 years, people have the right to challenge this law. And the Library of Congress, the Librarian of Congress, basically hears these claims and then decides if something can be exempted from this.
But
this
it's
law.
Temporary, right? It's a temporary exemption.
I didn't gather that it was temporary from this. I guess okay, you're right. Actually, I'm looking back at the line here. It does say consider temporarily exempting products from the anti-circumvention rule.
But they have to prove that they were hurt by the rule.
They do. And this is the challenge. And of course, GM, having lots of money and lots of lawyers, is fighting it. They've turned in a 24-page public comment arguing against the exemption because they don't want people cracking into their software. And this just opens up a whole new arena of this idea of ownership. And, what do you get to do with something that belongs to you? You've paid for it.
I can understand. I mean, now that I'm... So we talked about that story last week of the guy hacking into the plane that he was in and causing that plane to go up in elevation, to climb in elevation. When he wasn't flying the plane, he just hacked into their system. And so I can understand GM saying, now wait a minute. If we make this open source, then anybody could take a hold of your car and then mess with it, and that would be horrible too.
Or reverse engineer it. A competitor buys a car. And
I'm sure that's what they're more concerned about.
Yeah.
So
or someone who makes a change that causes the car to crash or have some problem, and
then who has the liability, right?
Exactly. And how do you know that how do you know that it was the person who did it, or someone's going to claim that GM caused the problem, or
With the millions and millions of cars, I'm sure GM doesn't want to take your car back or your software back or anything like that.
Yeah.
I'm sure they just don't, want you to resell it to some other competitor or something like that. But they all steal from each other.
They all steal from any competitor can buy a GM car.
Yeah.
And start hacking away.
I mean, look at these cars. You see them on the road, the mom vans and the minivans, and they all look alike.
They do.
It's just amazing. And within days of each other coming out, they're all the same. So I don't know how that exactly happens. There's probably something in the industry, but I think there's some reverse engineering and stealing and file sharing going on. Let's just put it that way.
I think there's a lot of interesting things going on with car technology right now. Erin's convinced that her car calls the dealership in advance.
It does.
And tells them
it
what's
does
going
because
on.
The Prius will tell you that it's time for maintenance. A little light comes on the dash and it says it's time for maintenance, which just means an oil change or a tune-up or whatever. And nearly at the same time, like maybe off by a day, I get an email from the dealership, time to bring your car in for service. Now, how do they know how much I drive? So it has to be that there's communication between my car and Toyota.
The car is having a secret text relationship with the dealership.
Yes.
And someone needs to monitor that.
But that does remind me about something. There is a white bar on the top of KCA's radio page, kcaaradio.com, and you can click on it, and if you have your vehicle's VIN ID number, because of all these recalls that have happened, especially with those airbags from a company we'd never heard of before,
yes,
you can enter your car VIN number on there, vehicle identification number, that's VIN, and it will tell you how many things are wrong with your car. And it's amazing. I had like 3 or 4 different recalls I'd never even known about.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Wow.
Well, my car, I drive a lot. So my car's at the dealer because I have a Prius. I only take it to the dealer, and it's there fairly often. About the airbag, we've never even talked about the airbag. So I suppose the next time I take it in, I'll have to have them look at it.
Supposedly and allegedly, these airbags are in a lot of cars.
Well, yeah, there were millions of them, right?
Yeah.
And it basically, it releases shrapnel essentially, so that people get metal bits in their faces instead of an airbag, or in addition to the airbag.
Who thinks of this stuff? Let's put shrapnel in an airbag.
Well, I think it's just that the integrity is compromised of the pieces around it. So those pieces aren't supposed to break and be it's supposed to end up in your face at 200 miles an hour.
Friendly fire.
Exactly. Very friendly fire.
Not so friendly fire.
Well, the interesting thing, though, is that cars have become so much more complex now, And we're in a whole new era of cars. It's not just a car; it's a computer.
It really is.
And so, how do you distinguish between the rules for a car versus the rules for a computer?
I don't know. And all these different technologies. So yesterday, Tobin and I were driving behind a regular passenger vehicle that had a logo on the back that said it was fueled by compressed natural gas. And I've seen fleets like buses. I think Colton Joint Unified School District, their whole fleet is compressed natural gas.
City vehicles.
City vehicles are often that, or county vehicles, that sort of thing. And so then I thought, well, where in the world does this guy fill up? He's got to work for somebody that has a filling station for natural gas. There's hydrogen cars. I guess that technology is coming out. Of course, we have hybrids. We have all electric. And so the whole landscape is changing.
There are some fueling stations that do it
for natural gas.
Yeah. There's one over in Del Rosa, but however,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, just over there on
in San Bernardino.
In San Bernardino, just below the freeway there, off Del Rosa Avenue. But you have to know it's there, and it's in back of a car wash, and then you have to have the right tool or key or whatever. So It's not like you can just. So it's kind of inconvenient. You have to make sure your vehicles fold up.
Well, I saw a Kickstarter the other day on online, and it's not a car; it's a bicycle that has a battery-powered assistance module, and it looks like a little car. They put like a little car shell over it, and it's designed. It's just wide enough.
And I think it's a tricycle.
It's
a tricycle.
Thank you. It's a tricycle, and you can seat 2 people. And you can use it just by pedal power, or you can use the pedal assist, or you can just use the motor if you're going up a hill or something and you really want to just let it do the work. And it's got a 50-mile range. And I thought to myself, I work about 16 miles, 15 miles away from our house.
Yep.
Is this a possibility?
I totally want
one. Taking side streets.
How fast does it go?
Well, that's the challenge. It only goes about 20 miles an hour. So it's not super fast.
But it's legal for the bike lane because it's a tricycle. Yeah. So you would be in the bike lane going that fast.
I have an aunt who's like 95 years old, and we finally had to tell her, you can't drive anymore. Because she's still driving. She could, too, if she wanted. But that'd be kind of the perfect thing for her to get back and forth to the grocery store,
The thing about it that was really cool is, because it has the shell on it, it can carry your stuff, although I'm sure you couldn't move in it, like move your house, but it could carry your stuff, and if it's raining, it still keeps you, or any kind of weather, really hot, whatever, you're protected from the weather. I don't think there's air conditioning on it, but, if you're, so you would still be sweaty, but it was a nice, if you don't want to take a car, you want to be more eco-friendly, obviously there's no emissions from it.
Yeah.
So, it was pretty cool, pretty interesting idea. And I think the price point was like $5,000.
Yeah.
So we need to get them on the air to talk about their project.
Yeah,
they have these YouTube videos, and you can go on and you can watch, like they have them in Australia and stuff, people making electric cars themselves. And they go and they take this old clunker of a vehicle and they take all the emissions out and all the fuel lines and all this great stuff, and they're just pulling stuff out of this car left and right, and then they plop this electric engine in and a little transmission and make this electric car that goes like 90 miles an hour. You're like, wow, that's pretty cool. I'd like to do that myself. That'd be fun to do.
Yeah, I mean, if you're driving a lot, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, if you're like a lot of people commuting into LA or OC, obviously that's not going to make any sense to have a tricycle. I mean, essentially a covered moped. But if you're local, then heck, why not?
Why not?
Why not?
Fun stuff.
So yeah, I thought that was really, really interesting. Keeping along the lines of our, we've been talking about all kinds of things with celebrities today. There's a reality show in the Czech Republic that I think is really disturbing. So imagine channel surfing one night and stumbling on a reality show about a life in a crushing Nazi regime. Well, that show exists in the Czech Republic. And, you might remember the Czech Republic was the first to be invaded by the Nazis. And, the Allies said, sure, you can have the Sudetenland. Of course, they took the whole thing. And some people aren't too thrilled about it to see Nazis turned into a casual entertainment. This is according to The Guardian. Called Holiday in the Protectorate, the show follows 3 generations of a family trying to survive the Nazi-ruled protectorate of Bohemia and Moravia. They cope with paltry rations, German soldiers, Gestapo interrogations, blackmailers, and Allied bombing raids. But $40,000 awaits if they can last for 2 months.
Oh my gosh!
I know. When starting the project, we knew it may provoke some discussion on how far such a genre may go, and this is according to their director. And I'm not even going to try to pronounce her last name or her name. First name is Zora. The last name, not going to happen. Indeed, fortunately for the family, they will not be treated like the 82,309 Jews who lived in the Protectorate and were deported to the Nazis, not by the Nazis to concentration or death camps, or who were killed by Czech collaborators. However, what they are going to do? What are they going to do next? Big Brother Auschwitz. The creator swears that the show, which hired historians and a psychologist for authenticity's sake, is a serious endeavor. What do you think?
I find this very disturbing. I mean, they have the picture. This is the 3 generations of a family. So they have kids, they have middle-aged adults, and then they have elderly people that are participating in this show. And subjecting children to this kind of environment strikes me. I mean, it's very, very troublesome. I cannot imagine, what that's got to be doing to these people psychologically. Maybe the adults are more capable of handling it, but to a kid?
Yeah, I know.
And so you guys land on this subject, and I had picked this song out for the end of the show called Give It To Me, Baby. But, what can you do? It's the way life works sometimes.
Well, I'm sorry. I just, the flip side of this, though, is, when people as the farther we get away from World War II and that the older generation dies off and that sort of thing, then people, the memories of it go away, or they become softer, and people say, oh, it must not have been that bad. It must not have been that bad. And now they're seeing what it's like.
Well, and around here, but, not in Czechoslovakia. I bet you they still remember a little bit better than we do.
Well, I'm sure the Czech Republic does, but
this trivializes it too.
It does. It does trivialize it. I'm not saying I'm in support of it. I'm not saying I'm in support of it because I'm not. I think it's ridiculous.
I think it's borderline child abuse for the kid, and it trivializes it.
I agree.
For adults.
I agree. Well, especially the Czech Republic was an Eastern Bloc country, so they did, Nazis notwithstanding, they had communism after that, and it wasn't much better. So.
But we got to say goodbye now.
Oh, yeah. It's 6:59. I'm Erin Brinker.
I'm Tobin Brinker.
We are on the brink. Got Mark Westwood in the booth. Have a fantastic day, everybody, and keep listening to KCAA AM 1050.
When I came home last night.
You're on board KCAA's Inland Talk Express. KCAA, Loma Linda, 1050 AM. The station that leaves no listener behind.
Deadly flooding. Back to Ramadi. Mega merger. I'm Derek Van. Torrential flooding taking at least 6 lives in Oklahoma and Texas, washing away hundreds of homes. Correspondent Jennifer Gray says Houston is the flashpoint this morning.
We are continuing to see a major flooding problem down in Houston. A lot of rain this morning combined with all of this water flowing downstream just adds insult to injury. It is going to fill the rivers south of here faster.
A dozen people still missing in Hays County, Texas. Iraqi troops are on the move. Baghdad announcing a counteroffensive to retake the strategic city of Ramadi from ISIS. Correspondent Nick Payton-Walsh.
The first real announcement came from the Shia-backed militia who said they were going after a supply route that ISIS like to use between the northern area of Salahuddin province and Anbar, where Ramadi is.
On Wall Street, stocks sharply lower, and the big get bigger. Charter Communications agreeing to merge with Time Warner Cable for $55 billion in stock and cash. I'm Dirk Van.
My name is Amanda Clark. I am a breakfast defector. I am reaching out to anyone trapped in their AM routine. We'll be at Taco Bell every morning starting at 7 a.m. Say no to breakfast blandwiches. There's something tastier out there, like the Sausage AM Crunch Wrap, juicy sausage, eggs, and a crispy hash brown inside a grilled tortilla. If your mouth is watering, don't resist. Join us. Defect to the next generation of breakfast at Taco Bell. Wake up, live Moss at participating locations.
Great news for your Memorial Day holiday. Right now at Pier 1 Imports, you'll get up to 25% off all outdoor items, which means you'll get up to 25% off a patio you're madly in love with, up to 25% off the most colorful backyard barbecue ever, and up to 25% off all your friends wishing they'd gone to Pier 1 first. From lanterns to dinnerware, patio umbrellas to furniture, all outdoor is up to 25% off now through Sunday, May 31st at Pier 1 Imports.
And good morning. It is 7:02. Mark Westwood with you, helping you get into a Tuesday. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Hey, this week's going to be short. Stick with it, folks. Right now, stick with it. Weather-wise, not too hard to do. Nice, cool weather. Not too hot, not too cold. Not a whole lot of rain in the forecast. Just patchy overnight low, clouds and fog. Fog in the morning. Becoming mostly sunny Wednesday, highs in the 80s, near 90 by Friday. In the mountains, warmer in afternoons, winds about 25 miles per hour. Deserts, mostly clear through Thursday, except partly cloudy Tuesday, highs in the 90s. Beaches, cloudy, June gloom, late night, early morning low fog, otherwise sunny, highs near 68. Currently 63 degrees at Kcaa as we take a look at traffic. In the Inland Empire, Corona, carpool lane is blocked. The 91 westbound at Lincoln Avenue. 91 west at Lincoln, a stalled car is blocking the carpool lane. Traffic is backed up to McKinley and stays slow to Green River. East is slow from Madison to Arlington. The 71 is slow from Euclid to the 91. In Paris, stop-and-go traffic. The taillights are on I-215 northbound between Ethernac Road and Highway 74. And out in Moreno Valley, the usual slow-and-go traffic. I-215 northbound between Cactus Avenue and Alessandro Boulevard. Moreno Valley, 215 north is slow from Cactus to Columbia Avenue. South is slow from Iowa Avenue to Columbia. And 60 west is slow from Heacock to the 215. That's a look at your weather and traffic from the only station that leaves no listener behind, KCAA 1050 AM.
For more local radio every day, tune into KCAA Loma Linda.
Hi, everybody. Ray Lucia here. You know, we just saw the biggest jump in mortgage rates in more than 25 years. So now it's more important than ever to lock in your loan with a professional who has a thorough understanding of this wild mortgage market. That pro, Steve Aladord, the loan financial planner from Rancho Financial. Steve is one of the top 1% of mortgage originators in the entire country. And for years, Steve has worked with me, my family members and friends, and in most cases will close your loan in 30 days or less. Time is critical if you're ready to buy or refi. No one knows where rates will go next. Learn the advantages of working with a direct lender who can fast-track your loan. Steve Alador can calculate which program is best for you and educate you about all of your options. Call the loan financial planner, Steve Alador, at 888-563-1070. That's 888-563-1070. Or watch Steve's free home loan webinar at loanfinancialplanner.com. That's loanfinancialplanner.com.
Are you particular about the vitamins and supplements you take? Have you found that the big chain stores simply don't have what you need? Then you should know about the Vitamin Center of Agora Hills. You'll find rock-bottom prices on gourmet, top-quality vitamins and mineral supplements at the Vitamin Center. Get 30% off on all supplements and homeopathic products. All, not just selected merchandise. In addition, you'll find 30% off on all cosmetics, soaps, shampoos, toothpaste, makeup, hair coloring, and lip gloss. And all tea products are discounted 20%. Why go anywhere else? See for yourself at the Vitamin Center of Agora Hills, 5007 Canaan Road in Agora Hills. Or check out the savings and place your order online, VitaminCenterAgoraHills.com. Start saving by getting what you need from the Vitamin Center of Agora Hills. And tell a friend that the Vitamin Center ships nationwide. Call 818-707-0005. That's 818-707-0005. The Vitamin Center of Agora Hills. KCAA Loma Linda, your CNBC news station, where your business comes first.
He has been a professional money manager for the last 18 years. He is a regular contributor to the Fox Business Channel and Bloomberg Radio. In addition to this, he is a regular contributor to TheStreet.com and MarketWatch.com. Now he's live here on the Wall Street Business Network. Here is Bill Gunderson.
And welcome to the Monday, May 26th edition of the Best Stocks Now Radio Hour with professional money manager Bill Gunderson. Looks like the market woke up on the wrong side of the bed today. Gee, just had a 3-day weekend. We've been up for 3 weeks in a row, but not today. The Dow is down 127 points. That works out to 0.7%. The Dow is at 18,104. The S&P down 14 points. That works out to about the same percentage as the Dow, down 0.66 this morning. The S&P is at 2,112. The NASDAQ is down 45 right now. It's taking it on the chin. That's 0.88%. The NASDAQ is at 5,045 105, down 44 points. Crude oil, there's another bugaboo. You see, crude has been moving up recently, and the market's been moving with it. Well, we're